Hi, this is my review of the Tome of Adventure Design. The Tome of Adventure Design is pretty much a toolkit to create your own adventure sites, create your own dungeons, catacombs, haunted mansions, wizard's tower, castles, etc. And as I said in a previous video, it works great with the Ultimate Toolbox, which is a toolkit to create and flesh out campaigns. If you want to learn more about the Ultimate Toolbox, check the link on the description below. And as I said about the Ultimate Toolbox, that doesn't necessarily mean that this book is limited just to design adventure sites. Just as the Ultimate Toolbox can be used to design your own dungeons, however not as detailed as this other book, the Tome of Adventure Design has some potential to create your own campaigns and flesh out the world where your characters are going to be moving on. But this book specializes in a very efficient and overall excellent way in designing the dungeons, the adventure itself. Well, unless you're talking about wilderness adventures, then that's some other thing entirely. Well, let's talk about the quality of the book. The book is pretty sturdy, pretty tough. The quality of the paper is good, but I feel like it's easily affected by moisture in the air. I've noticed that when it rains a lot or when it suddenly gets really hot and vaporizes all of a sudden, the pages become all I don't know, like wavy. So maybe that will be an issue in the future, but the quality is pretty decent. It's also pretty well organized, and the book is it has a lot of useful advice on how to use the results you get when you are using the tables and generating all sorts of crazy results. They actually quote Albert Einstein in several passages. I think they also quoted a famous writer. I can't remember the name right now, but it's good stuff. It's quality advice on how to create your own dungeons, the general principles of adventure design, how to make it all come together and fit in a specific campaign. It's a pretty good book when it comes to theory on dungeon design and adventure design by itself. And well, let's talk about the book, the content. It's divided in 4 books. The first book is all about locations, missions, the villain's plan, and all sorts of things that will get your campaign started. And it's kind of like the base of the campaign. To use these tables, you need a D100. There are some parts where you need a D1000, but as you well know, the D100 can serve as a D1000. And you get some pretty crazy results. This book is actually pretty old school. For example, let's say you want to generate the name of a particular dungeon or adventure site. So you roll your dice and you get the circular bridge of the Kabbalistic bishop. And you have to take it from there. You have to think about what this crazy combination of words is telling you. Maybe there was a bishop that created some weird Kabbalistic cult of doom and created this strange place littered with treasure and of course filled with dangerous traps. But they also give you a purpose to the dungeon itself. What is this dungeon all about? Maybe it's actually a giant altar to awaken some kind of eldritch deity of darkness, or maybe your characters have to go on a mission to escort someone to that place or retrieve a magical item, etc. There are so many possibilities with this book, and this chapter also gives you a lot of good tables to generate a villain, the villain's plot, his political agenda, what he's going to do or what he plans to do with this or that city or village, and why the characters have to stop him. And the chapter 1 is pretty good to just as a starting point for the adventure. And in book 2 is actually quite amazing. This chapter is pretty much a huge monster generator. If you don't have a monster generator, this is an excellent book. there are some other good monster generators, but they all fall into the aberration category, in my opinion. That is, they generate these crazy, nonsensical monsters like cubes with tentacles and floating eyes, and every monster feels like in the weird vibe. And sometimes you just need a classical or more focused monster. But so this book here, book two, monsters, it gives you everything you need to create specific monsters. Maybe you need elementals or giants or undead, humanoids, demons, undead monsters, plant monsters, etc. You can generate all sorts of monsters, and there are special attacks, their abilities, their characteristics, special defenses, weaknesses, strong points, everything you can think of, and a lot of thematic details as well. So you're going to generate virtually an infinity of monsters for your players to face. And then chapter 3 is the largest chapter in the book by far, and it's probably the best chapter on dungeon design I have ever read in my gaming career. Let me show you. It's kind of about like this size of the book. You can see it's pretty thick, because considering this other part over here that's pretty thick too is just it's 2 chapters. This is just one single chapter for the entire art of dungeon design. Oh, I forgot to tell you that the book has some pretty awesome illustrations every now and then. And well, this chapter is just huge. It tells it's all about creating mysteries, clues, traps, tricks, dungeon dressings, and there are just so many tables. You can generate all sorts of things. You can generate corridors, trapdoors, staircases, secret passageways, puzzles, traps, and the different ways the characters can navigate from one area to from the dungeon to another. Everything you need to create a dungeon, an original dungeon, and a pretty crazy one at times, is right here. And as I was telling you, this is a pretty old school book, but it can be adjusted because of its generic nature. You can use it with a variety of other systems and themes, and not necessarily old school because of the crazy nature of the random tables. And the last chapter, which I think is a bit disappointing. It's good, but compared to the rest of the book, it's not as fleshed out, in my opinion. It's all about non-dungeon adventure design. That is, creating castles and ruins, cities and settlements, other planes, underwater adventures, wilderness adventures, etc. What I mean about not being as fleshed out or as good as the other chapters is that they just give you a general outline. And that's pretty understandable. You will need an entirely separate book, in my opinion, if you wanted to generate wilderness adventures. But here they just give you an outline like, oh, there's a castle over here, and there are some ruins, and there's a city, and they give you some general details, and that's it. They don't give you a lot more tables to see what's inside that city, or maybe the different places and things and flora and fauna in that forest. They just give you some general tables so you can start thinking and brainstorming ideas for your wilderness adventures, otherworldly adventures, etc. And well, what I think about this book, well, it's probably the best book I have when it comes to generating dungeons. But as I told you, if you want to generate a campaign or the campaign world, or give a bit more color to your world, you need to get a book similar to this one, to the Ultimate Toolbox. But if you're looking for a specific book that gives you things, material to create your own monsters, your own dungeons, you have it right here. Look no further. This is probably the best book there is, in my opinion, to generate your own dungeons and whatnot. Everything has to do with those dangerous places where player characters enter and kill everything and take their stuff and find all sorts of intrigue and mysteries. This is the book to get. I actually can't find an important negative point besides the thing I told you about the last chapter, but that's pretty understandable, as I was saying. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.